king of the world!
Because the new season is upon us. Men's national champion Emmanuel Sandou aims for his first Skate Canada crown. A first Skate Canada competition for the Queen of the Ice, Cynthia Phaneuf. DeBrey and Lazan are ready to dance one more time, and Marcou and Bunton looking to get better and better. The countdown is on. 16 months until the Olympic Games. Time to make some waves. Welcome to the 2004 MasterCard Skate Canada International from Halifax, Nova Scotia. The sixth time that a major skating event has come to this great city inside the Metro Centre. First time a Skate Canada was held here was 1983, 21 years ago. And hello, everyone. Here we go again. I'm Rod Black. Welcome to a new skating season. A lot of great stories to help weave us through another cold Canadian winter. And here's our schedule over the next 4 nights here on TSN and CTV. Tonight we have the pairs short program along with the men's short program to come. And then tomorrow on TSN, the women's short program featuring Canadian women's champion Cynthia Phaneuf. The pairs free skate tomorrow night. Saturday and Sunday we are on CTV. Women's free, men's free Saturday night. And on Sunday it is the free dance. And alongside my colleagues once again, Debbie Wilkes and Tracy Wilson, I guess we can say happy new skating year. This is a big year because it's the countdown to another Olympic Games. We're 16 months away, and many people say this is the big window right now for Olympic skaters.
Well, obviously, I think anyone looking at that Olympic year next year thinks that that's kind of isolated, that it only matters then. But believe me, the skaters know, the fans know, the athletes really know that it's not just about next year, that it all starts now.
It does, and for the Canadian team in particular, while there were some great moments last year, the results at the World Championships were very disappointing with a string of 8th-place finishes. Top Canadian skaters are here, all the Canadian champions here, many of them with potential to be on the podium at the Torino Olympics. But that journey to the podium starts in this competition. It's this season, do or die. And
everybody, of course, will be looking back at Salt Lake City in 2002 and the scandal that happened there, and they're trying to erase that bad taste in their mouth in this sport from the judging debacle. Here's a look now at the new and improved judging system, which the ISU has ratified for this season and beyond, and we get a word from the brains behind the new code of points system.
In June of this past year, the International Skating Union passed new rules for the judging and scoring of figure skating. In the past, skaters were awarded marks out of 6.0 to rank their performances. Today, skaters will be given a total score that will be based on the accumulation of points for every aspect of their program. As the skater skates their program, a group of technical officials will identify each element and its level of difficulty. This will determine the base value for the element. The panel of judges will then award a grade based on how well the element was executed. The average of these grades will determine how many points are added to or subtracted from the base value. At the end of the program, the base values and average grades are totaled together. This will be the total element score. The attention then turns to the overall program. The judges award program component scores out of a score of 10. The average of each score for skating skill, transitions, performance, choreography, and interpretation is then the total component score. The total element score plus the total component score will be the final score for each skater. The person with the highest total score wins the competition.
So we had a taste of this last year. Now we get the full meal deal. We are now into the new judging system. You two have now become technical specialists as well in the sport. Maybe you can explain a little bit about that.
Crazy, isn't it?
Are you judges now?
Yep. In a manner of speaking, and we'll explain. And hopefully throughout the broadcast this weekend, we'll give you all the tips that we learned, too. In the summertime, once Congress had passed the new judging system, Any skaters, former national or even international skaters and coaches, were invited to become technical specialists by the ISU. This is kind of the front string, the first group of judges that the skater will see once they finish their performance. They are technical specialists, 2 of those, and 1 technical controller, all of whom identify, and that's the key word, identify the elements and their levels of difficulty. Once that is confirmed, then it goes to the traditional judging panel.
Yeah, so we still do have the judges on the panel. They're responsible for grading the technical element. That's the first score. The second score, the judges are solely responsible for the artistic interpretation, choreography, and those things. So it's all kind of added together. But just like before, there are the 2 scores. These are added together, though, to give you the final overall results.
And again, it's going to take some time getting used to it. We will take you through it through the weekend with this system. If you were with us last year, again, we got a little taste of it at the beginning, but now it is being implemented, the new code of points system. Also joining us this week, we welcome Vic Router from the curling ice to the skating ice. Vic is backstage with us this week.
Looking forward to this weekend here in Halifax, and in particular the scoring system, the new scoring system. Valerie Craig, you've had at least some experience last year at the ISU events. Have you modeled your program after the new scoring?
Absolutely. We spent a lot of time on our choreography this year, making sure the transition mark in the artistic score is where we want it to be. We've modeled our lifts, our spins have all changed, basically being as strategic as we can.
And I understand as well you've added or tried to work on your spins.
Yeah, we try to make more position, to hold the rotation longer, so to make our level higher.
Thank you very much, and good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
So a new season, new judging system. Same old skating, though. Should be exciting and entertaining over the next 4 nights. We'll be back in Halifax in a moment. In Skate America in Pittsburgh this week in Canada. The MasterCard Skate Canada International. We have the pairs short program, the warm-up on the ice right now. Debbie Wilkes alongside. Tracy Wilson will be by later for the men's short program. And here are the required elements for the pairs short program, Debbie.
8 of them. You have a list there in front of you. The skaters must do it in 2 minutes and 50 seconds or less. Look at number 8, the lasso lift. It's called Group 5. Skaters find it probably the most difficult, the riskiest, and the one with the biggest degree of danger. Also, the highest base mark. Some disaster with that lift last week in Pittsburgh for the world champions from Russia.
There's Annabelle Langlois, Patrice Arquette, and this last week was the world champions. Very difficult to watch. Tatiana Totmianina and Maxim Marinin. Tatiana went to the ice and was unconscious, suffered a concussion. You've been there. You've had that happen to you.
Well, you know, it looks horrible, but it's not all that uncommon for pair skaters. Everybody works so hard for it, there's still that element of danger.
As Annabelle Langlois knows very well.
Common thing with our sport. When we get to competition, what people see is the result of a whole year of practice, or sometimes a lot more than 1 year of practice. The first time a team tries a throw triple or a new lift or any new pair element, there's a lot of falls involved, and some of them are very painful.
Skaters always practice lifts off the ice first, much like gymnasts. They will have spotters. It's a very careful, very tiptoe kind of preparation for a lift, and it's a long time before it ever moves on the ice.
Annabelle Langlois has had her shares of falls. Every pair skater has. This is a lift that Annabelle Langlois and her partner Patrice Arquette have done many times. It is the axle lasso lift. This was the lift that the Russians attempted in Pittsburgh.
And for the Russians, it was the first time they've had it in their repertoire. Makes you wonder why take that kind of risk when it's not sure, not safely rooted. For Annabelle and Pat and the other Canadian teams, they've done it for years.
Certainly one of the most dangerous disciplines in all of sports, pairs skating. And Langlois and Arquette know it. Everyone out here knows it.
And what makes that lift so tough is the entry. You'll notice as the skaters go into it, they're skating forward, shoulder to shoulder. And that's that swinging kick of the woman that can throw the man's balance off completely.
Let's get an update, though, on Tatiana Totmianina. You were there last week.
Yes.
Fortunate for her that it wasn't as bad as it potentially could have been, but they will not skate for a while.
She was unconscious on the ice for several minutes. Taken to hospital. The good news is she suffered only a minor concussion, although at a press conference the next day from the hospital, her in a wheelchair, she looked pretty battered and bruised. I expect they'll be back, probably not for the Grand Prix season, but once we get after Christmas.
World champions, of course, from Russia. And the team they took the title from are in this field. Shen and Zhao of China, we will see them later. 3 Canadian teams, including this team. Pascal Bergeron and Robert Davison. And this is a team that wasn't supposed to skate here, but because of injury, they get a chance to compete at their first ever Skate Canada.
The silver medalists from the 2004 Neville Horn Trophy. Please welcome from Canada, Pascal Bergeron and Robert Davison.
They are last-minute replacements for Tako Wakamatsu and Jean-Sébastien Fecteau. And I know we talked about the Olympics being 16 months down the road. For this team, this is kind of their Olympics right now, getting a chance to skate at a major international.
It's a team, they've had the attitude, let's just build, let's see where we can go with this. You'll notice that they are both opposite jumpers. If you're looking from the roof of the arena, most skaters skate in a counterclockwise direction. Pascal and Rob skate clockwise. And you'll see that vividly with this first element, solo triple toe loops planned. Automatic deduction of 1.0 for the fall under the new system. Good throw triple loop. Gaining speed for a relatively simple double twist. All that is required of the pairs in the short program. The judges looking to see the quality of their skating skills, the quality of their technique. There's that group 5 lift. Difficult backward entry into the solo combination spin. Next, the spiral step sequence. A requirement that one of the pair team must be in a spiral position at all times. Backward inside death spiral, the required death spiral for this year's short program. The team makes it very complicated, lots of variety. We mentioned at the top of the show, the short program this year is up to 2 minutes and 50 seconds, an extra 10-second allocation so that skaters can dedicate good quality spin timing to get the required revolution.
First skaters out of the chute here tonight. Not too bad considering, again, they were forced into this competition as alternates, as replacements. Hey, we've got to do it sometime. Why not here? Why not in Halifax? We'll be back to the Metro Center and the MasterCard Skate Canada International. Robert Davison, Halloween, not too far away. Richard Gauthier, of course, coaches the Canadian champions, Marcou and Bunton.
Here's that triple toe. Let's see what happened. Entry very strong, good speed. It looked like Pascal was not fully rotated. The technical judges will determine whether they'll consider it a triple or a double. Here's the throw, beautifully done. She hangs on with very strong knee bend. And one of their best elements, an exquisite exquisitely difficult and interesting entry into the back inside death spiral. Rob not hitting the pivot position with his toe behind right away. Pascal changing positions.
So now let's try to walk you through the new system. And again, a computerized system. The ISU new judging system, the code of points system. Again, it works on additions mostly. You have an accumulated total based on what the skaters have done.
You had a look there at the evaluation panel who are determining the quality of the skating. Sitting up behind them is the technical panel. That's where Tracy and I sit.
There's certainly a lot of stuff on that computer screen. Is it confusing at all, even to the people down there?
I think once you've been through the training system, at first you are inundated, and then it begins to make sense. And that's what's going to happen to our viewers this weekend, too.
Technical elements, program components, add them together. Components really the artistic side, more subjective mark, and add them up for the short program total and the mark, the total that everyone else now shoots for, 43.40.
Remember, 6.0 is gone. There are no more ordinals. Many people never understood them in the first place. Now it's total points.
Placing fourth at the 2004 ISU Grand Prix Final, our next skaters, representing Canada, Annabelle Langlois and Patrice Arquette.
Annabelle Langlois, Patrice Arquette. This is a team I think they're getting kind of tired of being where they are in Canada. This is a team that was supposed to be a national champion pairs team and just have not been able to ascend to that title over the last couple of years. Could this be their year?
Well, they admit that they have lacked consistency at some very key moments. However, last year they did well under the Code of Points test competitions, and certainly if any team can wiggle those marks out of choreography, it's Annabelle and Pat. Extra marks. They've learned a new element this year. The very first one, a throw triple loop. Bad lean by Annabelle on the landing.
Not a good start.
And hard to come back to the triple toe, but they do it.
This is a team that really went to work in the last off-season. If there is an off-season anymore, they've been working on their fitness and their finesse.
They made quite a few changes. They used to be very heavy into cardio off-ice training. Made quite a few changes in that area. And now find that their stamina has actually improved. Beautiful unison on the spins. And perfectly matched in the spiral positions. Often in pairs you'll see the woman with much more flexibility than the man. Next, they are warming up for their lift. Watch the forward entry. Annabelle will kick with her right leg. Up it goes. Timing must be perfect.
Annabelle Langlois and Patrice Arquette, they have done very well internationally. over the last few years. It's been domestically. They just haven't been able to win the Canadian crown. That is something you want on your resume.
It sure helps.
We'll have the marks under this new judging system from the Metro Center in Halifax in a moment. Again, hasn't been able to get to #1 in Canada. Would like to be #1 even in the world someday, and they have really put a lot of miles in. Obviously, the throw triple loop still needs some work.
Jamie Soleil and David Pelletier have been working with this team a lot over the summer and encouraged them to learn that new triple loop throw. Watch the twist here, only a double, but Pat, in order to make the height of the lift look even better, instead of keeping his hands extended to catch Annabelle, slaps his sides. Very good. And there's that nasty Group 5 axle lift. You see how it can go south pretty easily. If the woman does not lead the rotation as the man turns, balance is almost impossible. And Pat and Annabelle complicate the lift even further with very difficult hand changes and, of course, the twist out.
Well, the time is now, again, in this window before the Olympic Games in Torino. 16 months from now, this is the time where you really want to make some moves, impress some people in the world, start to get a little closer to the Shens and Zhaos and the Tatmianinas and Marinins.
In the past, you wanted to do well this year so that the judges remembered you for next year. Under the new judging system, that's not as important. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you're from, you skate, you get the marks. However, you're not going to become an Olympic champion overnight.
And you have to get in that environment, the competitive environment with those teams. And tonight they will be in that environment. Shen and Zhao still to skate, and Tong and Tong, the other Chinese medal-winning team, to skate. Here is the short program total. Langlois and Arquette, these will be the first place marks naturally, and the rest of the teams will shoot for 57.38 for Langlois and Arquette. New season underway, free skate to come in Halifax. We'll be back with much more earlier in 2004 when they became national champions. Valerie Marcou and Craig Bunton, who went to the World Championships. A team that's only been together a couple of seasons, had partnerships before, but this one seems to have created a winning team. Marcou.
I grew up in a single-family household. My mom remortgaged her house, and the sacrifices that both my mom and my brother have made in order for Val and I to get where we are is unbelievable.
Well, when I was younger, my both parents work, and my mom had to start, well, she liked it, but she started making dresses for the others to get more money, like to help for skating.
We skate, I guess, somewhere between 20 and 30 hours a week, and we work, I guess, somewhere upwards of 35 hours a week. My first impression of Val, actually, was just honestly disbelief. She spent close to 3 to 4 hours on the ice alone, doing program after program after program to get her singles program perfect, because she wanted a pair partner and she was working so hard to get it.
Off the ice, he's always there to have a good time. He takes life easy, but when he's on the ice and he has a goal to achieve, he's really going for it, and I really enjoyed that. For the 2003 Canadian Championship, we went in thinking we want to make the world team.
Maybe we weren't 100% prepared to be in that last flight. We had a pretty disastrous lift to open up the program.
It took me maybe 4 months to watch that tape without having emotions.
We knew at the time, as soon as we finished Canadians, that we had to make a change in our training.
I went through some hard time after changing coach, like still really emotional talking about it, but I don't know, I used to cry every day because I was uncomfortable, I wasn't happy.
She didn't think she was pretty, she didn't think she had much quality. She was excusing herself to Craig all the time. She always, I'm sorry, and there's a few words I had to get rid of her vocabulary.
Looking back on it now, we can understand exactly what Richard was doing. He basically just patiently each day asked us how we were doing, and he was just so patient with us. Last year's Canadian Championships in Edmonton, we We knew that internationally we had skated 2 clean long programs in 2 competitions previous.
Got it!
The crowd was on their feet. It was the best feeling ever.
They did it!
We both feel just very optimistic about where we are right now. We're ready to take that step in the world to get to where we need to go.
And you know, it's amazing what a little title can do for you. This team is skating with more confidence and more joy, I think, than they could have ever imagined.
Well, they've also got bullseyes this year. Everyone's shooting for this team in Canada. They will be on the ice when we come back. It really is the definition of sport. To win, you have to lose. A team that suffered some abject disappointment in 2003 and then rallied, worked harder, got better in 2004, became national champions. Valerie Marcou and Craig Bunton, third Canadian pair here in Halifax.
Big element for many pair skaters is still the solo jump. They have planned triple toes. Perfect. And the lasso. Smooth, huge ice coverage, no loss of speed. They've been doing some work with the acrobats of Cirque du Soleil. How to have the body move through the air. Those spiral positions, any one of them, in order to be counted, must be held for a minimum of 3 seconds.
This is what they've really been working on, their spins.
Double twist. And quick into the pair combination spin. Nice placement of elements on the ice. Each part of the surface used very well. Highlights in each area. Their throw coming up next, also a throw triple loop. Change of position for Val increases the difficulty. A strong element.
Nice start to the season. A lot better than last year. They finished 7th at Skate Canada, eventually wound up winning the Canadian title. Great start. For sure.
A standing O, as a matter of fact, and it all began with the side-by-side solo jumps to triple toes. Both skaters with good ice coverage, no hesitation whatsoever. They worked the hardest, however, on their spins, both pair spins and individual spins. This one, a change foot combination spin with a flying entry, a layover, down into the sit spin, and a difficult change back into a forward camel and sit. Variation, holding the blade, a little loss of unison on the exit. The throw triple loop, another great element. High and flying. Val was comfortable. She had beautiful speed coming out. Solid positions throughout.
Skated like they did at the national championship. So now let's compare them to Langlois and Arquette. Their first set of marks 31.66. Their second set, 26.72 for a total of 57.38. Let's see where the Canadian champions rank here. Safe to think that they would be better than Langlois and Arquette, who had the fall. Much stronger technical elements points. In fact, 4 points stronger. Component marks also stronger, so they are now the leaders. Marcou and Bunton, 64.02. And that is the mark that Shen and Zhao, the former world champions, will shoot for when we come back. You're watching the 2000.
Congratulations. That, I suspect, is just the way you would love to start every competition.
Yeah, of course it is. We really have fun tonight, and we're really happy with what we've done.
Well, and it starts with the triple toes. I mean, when you land that, the confidence you gain, you can see that right away.
To be honest, it starts long before that. We actually, on the way over here, we ended up cutting through a mall, and there were 4 guys who were just construction workers off the job, and they said, "Go Canada, yeah!" And for us, you know, to be from such an amazing country, it was just...
Congratulations, and we wish you all the best now in the free.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Vic, and thank you, Valerie and Craig. Inspiration from construction workers. And on the ice, Hongbo Zhao and partner Zhuai Shen, 2-time world champions. I think they would be 3-time world champions if the new system was in place at last spring's world championship.
You're
this
absolutely
team would have
right.
won.
They won the free skate, but had such a disaster in the short program that they were too far back. Now with the new system, unlike the old one, you carry the points from the short program over to the free. So if you've had an amazing, blisteringly good short program with big high points, not that you can relax for the free, but it's a very good place to start.
Yeah, that free skate in Dortmund, Germany, 12 6.0s for Shen and Zhao, and now the new season underway again for them. Chinese champions, world champions. A new dynasty, perhaps, in skating.
Watch the detail here. Every position of the hand, right down to the fingernails, has meaning. Patience. Also beginning with the triple toe. A little far apart, but clean jumps. Here is their axle lift. Watch the entry out of the spread eagle. Beautifully done, very hard. Although not complicated once they got into the takeoff. Soaring throw triple loop. Pair skaters tend not to do solo spins at the same speed of rotation as single skaters do, because of course judges are watching to see unison. Legs must match. Watch the twist, the highest in the competition. She floats. back inside that spiral.
Absolutely exquisite. That is a world championship type performance from Shen and Zhao.
Not without its difficulty, though. It was not what I would call an on day for them. Still, they pulled it off.
Team that has climbed the ladder every year. Want to climb back on top of the world in the spring. December, the World Team Figure Skating Championships will be in the Manitoba capital in the brand new arena in Winnipeg for the World Team Championships on TSN. Check your listings as we welcome you back inside the Metro Center in Halifax. Shui Shen, Hongbo Zhao, world champions 2 times, but not at the last World Championship. They finished second to Tatmianina and Marinin.
That entry is what made that lift so difficult. They had planned a much more complicated set of features to bring the base value of that lift up much higher. But with a loss of balance, they had to downgrade. Side-by-side spins always seemed to be a bit of a thorn in this team's side. They lost some of the unison with the free legs not matching, got back on again, and exited perfectly. Strong finish, however, to the beautiful music from Claire de Lune, back inside death spiral. Shuei goes in, reached forward, then changes position, a feature which increases the difficulty and also the base value for that move.
Again, this system practically made for this team, though, with their degree of difficulty, if you want to use that terminology. Shen and Zhao will be the leaders. How much of a difference between them and the Canadians? That will be the question. Their technical element score is actually less than the Canadians. Component score is up there. 66.48. Marcou and Bunton are only a point and a half back. Shuei Shen, Hongbo Zhao of China, former world champions. They've worked hard at it. Say they want to keep skating until the 2007 European Championships, which will be held in their homeland. And in Warsaw, building a brand new facility and a skating school, which they hope to work in someday. And I'm sure they will.
Husband and wife, many-time Polish champions.
Again, the score to beat right now, 66.48 in the short program. Shen and Zhao left the door open a little bit here.
Anxiety on Dorota's face, knowing that the triple toe loop solo jump is the first element. Complete rotation will give them the triple toe, but they will lose in quality marks. Nerves even costing them on the throw triple loop.
Finally getting their spins back together, but way out of unison.
When your name is called and you have to skate to the center of that ice surface, depending on your experience and often depending on where you are in the season, you almost stop breathing. That adrenaline just pumps. Things that you normally find easy to do become extremely difficult. Spiral step sequence. Now watch the preparation for the axel lasso. Unique and tough. A pull through right up. Now that was just muscled through. But they keep going.
Based on what happened in Pittsburgh last week, though, every time a team for the next few weeks goes into a lift, there will be a hush.
And the skaters recognize that as well.
Well, they also recognize this was not their best performance here tonight. They clearly are capable of better, perhaps early season rust. We'll find out what the judges think in a moment. Omnipresent coach, but not this time with the smiles in the kiss and cry area for Zagorski and Sjudek, who work with Gauthier in Montreal.
Along with Manon Perron and several other wonderful skaters as part of the team. Started to unravel here with the solo triple toe jumps. Very close to the boards. Dorota almost succeeds in landing. The rotation is complete, but it will be marked with an inferior quality. Then, of course, with the second element, the throw triple loop coming up so quickly on the end of the triple toe, she has not yet had time to compose herself. Then, when they get to the lift, which we have become so accustomed to seeing as absolutely perfect, that pull through and up into the overhead position was just brute strength. Normally, the skaters must feed off of one another and feel the movement so the timing is perfect. There is a precise moment on the takeoff when the woman is weightless, and that's when the man lifts. It's easy. It's not about strength. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but that's easier
relative, yeah,
than just muscle.
He is really part of the prototype of the Eastern Bloc of male pair skaters. A big, tall lad. See a lot of the Russian men who have been like that through the years, the Polish men too.
With great technique on his feet. We always watch the women in the air, but sometimes take a look at the man's feet. Tremendous ice coverage, no skidding, comfortable.
They'll have to do a lot better. Right now, they are going to be in 4th place, so they were supposed to figure into the top 3. Not right now with another team to skate. The Canadians, Marcou and Bunton, 2nd. Langlois and Arquette are 3rd right now. Shen and Zhao lead, but the lead is not a large one. And maybe another Chinese team might be able to step up.
And now for our final competitors. Representing China, please welcome the current world bronze pair medalists, Tong and Tong.
For the first time ever back in Dortmund, Germany, 2 Chinese pair teams stood on the podium. Shen and Zhao in 2nd, and this team, Tong and Tong, who finished 3rd. And there used to be a wide chasm between the 2 teams, not anymore.
For both teams from China here at Skate Canada, they have not been, what is called in skating, they have not been monitored. So this is the first time the judges have seen these programs. Following the event, you can bet their coach, Bin Yao, will be seeking every bit of information he can find about how to create higher levels of difficulty for all of the elements. Higher level of difficulty, higher base mark. Triple throw loop next. Timed so beautifully with the music. Another crescendo hit. The marriage of movement and music. All I ask of you from Phantom of the Opera, a refreshing change for this team. It's very light and airy sounding. Contributes to that feeling of floating in their skating.
A decade ago, Chinese pairs teams weren't even on the radar screen. They could have 3 teams on the podium at the World Championships this time around.
A distinct possibility.
Zhang and Zhang won last week at Skate America. Shen and Zhao lead here, and Pang and Tong will get their marks when we come back. You have to brush up on your Chinese at a skating event right now. And organizations and skating in the world would like to go to China to visit that national training center of Binyao, because he has created a factory of pair skaters.
And some of their best elements include the throws. This was just so exquisitely timed to the music. Beautiful high crescendo in the sound. She was airborne and hung there for what seemed like seconds. Same thing applies in the twist. Horizontal in her layout. A stylistic point generally used by the Chinese teams.
Stunning throws and lifts.
They really do hang there. It is a whole technique which they have absolutely perfected.
Again, some of their weaker points have been between, they've always said, you know, that it's the stuff between the lifts and throws and jumps.
Yeah, and I find that artistically, this team does not yet have the balance of a Shen and Zhao. I find that the male partner is much stronger in terms of his presence. However, King is starting to really make progress in that area as well.
Again, they had 2 teams at the World Championships on the podium, and they have another great team in Zhang and Zhang, who won last week in Pittsburgh. We'll watch them during the season. Now let's check the marks. This could be very close near the top of the leaderboard, and with the Canadians. 34.02, close to Shen and Zhao.
30.52 points.
And 35.2, so Pang and Tong are second.
4.54 points in the short program.
And they, too, very close behind Shen and Zhao. 2 points behind. Marcou and Bunton are third. Here are the standings: 66.48, 64.54, 64.02. Langlois and Arquette are in fourth. Zagorski and Sjudek in fifth. The other Canadian team, of course, first-timers at Skate Canada, Bergeron and Davison. Sets up a great free skate. Chinese in the medal picture again for gold. We still have the men's short program to come from Halifax after this. They get ready for the men tonight. Let's talk about the pairs, though, Debbie Wilkes. What you saw that you liked here tonight. What I really like heading into tomorrow's free skate is the fact that anybody can win. We always used to say that, but now because of the point system, you get enough points you can get the gold medal.
Well, and if you think about it, too, the top 3 teams are separated by something like 2.5 points. They will carry all those points into the free skate. I think what surprised me tonight, and it's the Axel Lasso angst, but everybody was having trouble. Even the top teams were having trouble with that lift, and they can certainly do it with their eyes closed. Even Shen and Zhao, who had that difficult entry, he lost his balance. She was out of position as well. They could not continue on with the difficult, complex change of moves that they had planned, and so they did not get credit for a real high base mark.
Do you think what the skating world saw last week, and a lot of these skaters, is staying in their heads a little bit? You start to think about it, or is it just the early season? But clearly, when you see something like you saw last week happen to Tatiana Totmiani, now, does that go through the kitchen of some of these skaters?
Oh, absolutely. And everybody knows, despite it was horrible and unusual to see it in competition, this is the kind of fall that pair skaters have happen. If not often, it's not uncommon. So everybody thinks usually at this level you might have one nasty fall in a season. You just pray it isn't at a bad time. So that kind of thing goes through your head. You must maintain the kind of respect that you have for the difficult stuff. Otherwise, it comes up and grabs you.
Let's hope that's the last nasty fall we see in quite some time.